Hello and welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. I have just got off a great radio interview that I did with the ABC, and it inspired me to come on and talk to you guys a little bit about the things that we discussed. What they asked me to do was share with them some ideas around what to do when you're unsure how to start decluttering. If you're feeling kind of a bit reserved about it, you don't know where to start, but you also want to get started, but you're unsure how. And often this is the case if you haven't followed minimalists and declutterers and professional organizers, if your For You page is not full of it and your YouTube next recommendations is not more professional organizers, this might be you. And I also thought this might be a really helpful episode for those of you who want to help someone that you live with to declutter. Maybe it's a child or a partner. Maybe you want to help your friend, or you want to go and help your parents. Maybe you're even thinking about starting your career as a professional organizer. These are some really great strategies that you can use for yourself. But I want you to think a little bit creative today about how you could use what I want to share when you're working with someone else. And so what I said to them is the biggest tip that I can give you when you're starting out. So the key is to break things down into small amounts of time, small categories, and small amounts of space. So I'm going to talk about those three things for you. And again, think about this when you're helping someone else. So a small amount of time, it kind of goes without saying. It just means you're not trying to engage a child in a 4-hour decluttering session when they've never done it before. Or you're not trying to say to your partner, we need to set aside all of Saturday to declutter the garage. You can actually break it down. And it might be still that you need to calendar that in and give people the respect of giving them advance notice when you're wanting to do this with them. But you might say, hey, I really want to tackle the bathroom cupboard with you. I know we both share it, or the laundry cupboard, or the plastics in the kitchen. Can we set aside 15 minutes after work tonight and just get started on it? And so by making it kind of a set and short period of time, reduces that overwhelm, enables someone who's brand new to it, maybe overwhelmed by it, maybe hesitant, doesn't think it's going to work, not sure what you can get done. It allows them to go, all right, well, I can do almost anything for 15 minutes. I can tolerate it. Let's give it a shot. And you can be quite strategic in that 15 minutes. You might just focus on rubbish. You might just focus on donations. You might just focus on organizing it so that it functions better. And when a space functions better, you can decide what you do and don't need in that space. And if 15 minutes is just too much, just do 5 minutes. Just a short amount of time, and set a timer so that it doesn't just kind of creep on. If you're working by yourself and the 15-minute timer goes off, snooze it, keep going. Absolutely perfect. However, if you're working with someone else and you've asked them to set aside a specific amount of time, I would really encourage you to stick to it. And maybe it goes so well that you go, let's do this again tomorrow night. Or could we do this again in a couple of hours and just see how much we can get done? Maybe next time we could push it out to 25 minutes. Think about that when it comes to time. Don't take advantage of somebody else committing to it and just be like, all right, I'm going to sneakily just keep going and going and going. They may be more resistant to joining again in the future. It's also really helpful to do these short little bursts. If you've got someone who's older, they might take a little bit longer to process things and make decisions. For a child, they just might get distracted. And if you're working in a relationship, the longer that you do it, the harder it gets. I find that the longer Cal and I are in IKEA together, the more likely it is that we're going to get niggly. But if we're in for a short, quick trip, perfect. And you might find the same with decluttering. The longer you spread it out is the more traps that you're going to get into relationally. So that short period of time can be really helpful. The next one is having a limited category. And again, I've talked about this over the years, but the limited category is saying, I'm just going to go through my jeans. And it might take 2 minutes and it might take 20 minutes, but the limited category is my jeans. I'm just going to go through our books. I'm just going to go through the forks. I'm just going to go through the photos that are currently in photo frames. And by simplifying this category, and we're talking about micro decluttering here, where rather than looking at all of the wardrobe or every display item that's on the bookshelf or all of the shoes in the house or all of the board games, you're categorizing it really small. You're going with a little category that you can, we're going to do dice games. We're going to do laundry powder. We're going to do drills and power tools. Like the smaller you make the category, the easier it is for you to tackle it and know when you're finished. And what the advantage of it is also if you can spend a couple of minutes gathering all of the items that fit into that category, you're going to find you can make better decisions because you simply know what you have. If you don't know what you have, then it can be a little bit like, well, I think I need to keep 4 pairs of jeans, but is there some in the wash? Maybe there's some in the spare room. Is there some on my wardrobe? By gathering them all together first, you can actually make really good decisions that mean that that category, when it's done, it's done. And you just put it away and organize it and you move on to another day. It might help to keep some categories on your phone where you just check them off. Maybe it's a checklist that you do. Maybe you just write down the category once you've done it, and you can see that accumulation of little categories on little categories actually means your house is going to get decluttered. If you just did one category a day, you would get through so much over the course of a year by only setting aside the amount of time it takes to do one small category. And the other idea I talked to this lady about on ABC today was tackling one space. And so that simply looks like pulling out a drawer and just going through what's in that drawer. So it might be a combination of scissors and sticky tape, and maybe it's some disposable chopsticks that you never used, and it's, got some bread tags. And you might find that it's a whole lot of different categories, but it's a confined space. And so you can do just that space. And I would encourage you to look at that in any area of your home. Can I do just one shelf? Maybe you need to declutter the fridge and you just tackle one of those fridge shelves, or one container in there, or one part of the freezer. It doesn't need to be everything. And if you've got the area that you're working in, I would encourage you, once you've decluttered it and gone through it, give it a wipe out, give it a clean if you're working in a space. And then what I would say is organize it as well as you can. It may not be that you can go out and grab some brand new organizing supplies, but have a look around and see what you've already got. Is there something you use in another space that you can repurpose and use in this space? This is really helpful when you're working with someone else because you're giving them the experience of what it would look like to be organized. It's not just decluttered. You're actually giving them the final result. If you're working in a space, I would encourage you to take before and after photos. Even if you think you're never going to show them to anybody ever and you think this is just a waste of time, you can never go back and take that before photo. So just take it. And if you look at the end result and you don't want to take an after photo, no problems. But you can't go back and get that before photo. So take it. Whenever you're tackling a space, particularly if you're tackling it with somebody else, take that photo. It can be a great reminder of like, oh yeah, that has made a difference. And when you're working with somebody else, I've used broken lunch boxes, empty takeaway containers, cardboard boxes. I've cut down cornflake boxes. I've cut down tissue boxes just to create the basics of what would be an organizing solution. It's not a forever solution. A tissue box is going to break down or get wet or get dirty. You can't wash it and all that type of thing, but it's a good start. And it helps people to kind of see what the possibilities are. So that's what I want to encourage you with today, is just this idea of breaking things down into small amounts, a small amount of time, a small category, or a small space. I think that's going to make a really big difference. One of the courses that I run is my free 5-day wardrobe challenge. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have completed this challenge. It's a 5-day video challenge. You get emailed a new video each day for 5 days. And what we're doing is we're taking it by category. So the decluttering challenge should take you 5 to 15 minutes per category. And we just focus really specifically on what that category is on each day. So if you're feeling like, yeah, my wardrobe totally needs a refresh and it's been a little while and I don't quite know where to start, I'm going to put links in everywhere for you to be able to go and join that. Otherwise, you can just search theartofdecluttering.com.au/wardrobe and you'll be able to go there. It's free. You sign up, you'll be able to get all those videos. You can come back to it as often as you like. And again, a great resource if you're helping somebody else declutter their wardrobe. If you've got a teenager that really needs to update their wardrobe, or a child who's maybe a tween that has outgrown a lot of things, watch the videos themselves are only a couple of minutes long. Watch the video with that person and then tackle that small category together. Put a timer on, go with the space, use the resources that are available to you, particularly when they're free. And if you're helping somebody else, that can be a really great way of kind of having this platform, a dual understanding of what we're going to do, how we're going to tackle it, and a bit of trust can be built that way as well. Lovely to see you again this week. I can't wait to catch up again next week. Until then, enjoy the freedom.